let me open the what you call as the relevant topics for you, so that we can just understand better what is happening. So in India, we have a couple of things which we work with. One is the Delhi schedule of rates, and the other one is the Delhi analysis of rates. So if you have seen the previous video, you would have understood that these two have been referred to in that video, and I hope that because you've already watched those videos, you are in a position to ask some questions, or you may have some doubts. If you are having any doubts, we will be having some breaks in the middle where you can ask these. So we have two things. We have the Delhi schedule of rates, and we have the Delhi analysis of rates, DAR and DSR. So in the Delhi schedule of rates, we have a set of rates which have been framed and have been given. Now, one thing we should remember, just because the Delhi schedule of rates is that, it doesn't mean that we are going to exactly use those only. You still need to, as a contractor, figure out how you can work out the rates based on what is practical and what is available. And in this light, I also have one Excel sheet which I have prepared. So I will be requiring to use this. So let me just keep it open and ready. Right. So now the Delhi schedule of rates is nothing but a list of rates, just like how you have in your shop a list of rates. The Delhi schedule of rates is a list of rates. These are the rates at which CPWD is going to buy something from you. So if you as a contractor wish to supply a material, this is the rate at which CPWD envisions that the product is going to be done. Of course, there are what you call as the escalation is there, because the Delhi schedule of rates was prepared in 2018, and between 2018 and 21 there is definitely going to be some price escalation. So these will be factored on a case to case or project to project basis. Now, when there is a long term project, they will definitely have a system to account for these price increases. And suppose it's a very short term project, you will not, it is just not worth going about looking at all these, what you call as the increase. I mean, they're trying to work out a price negotiation. So typically, it is expected that the contractor is going to put all the rates into his project. And if suppose you're going to look at what you call as an item rate contract and things like that, you'll usually be using these systems. Okay. So now we are going to look at the daily schedule of rates. Okay. I'm sorry, this I don't know how to get this pen to recognize that I'm not wanting this menu out. Um, anyway, right. So let's probably draw a line under. Let me just probably draw a line under this. I'm going to open the daily schedule of rates. Okay. So you can go and download all of this from the CPWD's website. CPWD's website offers all of this for download, and you can buy these as hard copies also. So let us probably look at the daily schedule of rates. Now, as I was telling you, daily schedule of rates is nothing but a list. It's nothing but a list of rates which are there. And today we'll be having a look at the concrete works. So you saw the earthwork, and I will take the concrete work in this case, and you will find that the rate analysis is very similar. So it is just that if you know one, you're good to go for any of the others, right? So now, if you see here, we have a lot of items which are being put, and you'll find that any of these will be coming in for your work. So here in the daily schedule of rates, we have a code for each job. So irrespective of the work which you do, that code is going to be the same. So the unit in which you are going to measure and the unit rate are given in the daily schedule of rates. So you can keep looking at it. I mean, you can go through the different ones, and then you will be finding that it is coming to something, to the same thing. And I have taken the liberty of just jumping directly to the place where the analysis of rates has been done, so that we can work on this easier, right? So now let me probably take a snip of this and move it to our whiteboard and then use it. So let us, if you see here, this is the analysis of rate for concrete, and let us go what you call as step on a step by step thing in this. And if you have any doubts at this point in time, please feel free to ask any doubt with reference to the daily schedule of rates. You can please ask, right? So let me open the OneNote and paste it. Okay. So guys, we have in front of us the Delhi, like the analysis of rates based on the Delhi schedule of rates. We have the analysis of rates based on the Delhi schedule of rates. So what we are going to do essentially over here is we are going to find the details of cost for 1 cubic meter. We are going to find the details of cost for 1 cubic meter. So this is nothing but the unit of measurement for concrete. So whenever you are going to look at how you are going to measure concrete, you will be using the corresponding Indian standards for the measurement of civil works, right? So here what is happening, we are going to look at the material aspect. So whenever we are going to look at the estimation, remember the cost estimate is depending on a few things. What are the few things? One, you are going, I'm sorry again, yeah, one, you're going to look at the material which is going to be you worked with. So suppose you're going to use a material which is very costly intrinsically, automatically the cost is going to be higher. Whenever the material is intrinsically costly, the cost is going to go up. Second, you will always see that there is workmanship. So what is the quality you are looking at achieving? So this is the second aspect of cost. So if suppose you are looking at very high, this pen is annoying. I don't know. Yeah, I am forced to literally write. So you have the other very important thing, which is workmanship. So what is this workmanship? What is the type of finish you want? How skilled should the, as you know, when the labor force is very skilled, automatically the work output is going to be different. So you have the other two things, material, workmanship, and finally you will also be having the other things like the contractor profits and overhead. So whenever you see the word CPOH, it means contractor's profit and overheads. And finally you have the taxes. Now whenever you are going to look at GST, GST doesn't mean that you have to keep on be adding to the what you call as the process. So if suppose you have already paid a little bit of GST, you tend to only look at the extra part for which you have to levy the taxes, right? So now let us look at what you call as the different items over here. So for example, here we are having the stone aggregate with item code as 295. So we have the stone aggregate with item code 295. Now let me open the daily schedule of rates and see, look for this item number 295. Now because we are having this PDF, you can probably just look at you can just search for it. And I just there are totally 20 matches, and since I had gone through the whole thing a little while ago, I'm able to directly come to this 295. But what you will be looking at is whenever there is this code number, whether this 295 is coming, I mean like what is that? 295. So that's what is happening over here. For the 295, the unit rate is 1350. Okay. Now let us go here. You'll see that the unit rate has been given as 1350. So we are good. So this is how this rate essentially comes. So this 1350 is, and all the other terms are coming from the Delhi schedule of rates, and this table is there in the Delhi analysis of rates. So we come here and then we see that there is this unit as 0.57. Now how did this 0.57 get worked out? This 0.57 is the quantity of material, when I say it is the 20 mm aggregate which is there in a meter cube of concrete. Now if you look at a concrete technology, you will have estimation of quantity of different materials. So this is an item which has been directly taken from those calculations. It will depend on your mix design, or if you're using the nominal mixes, you can work out the different quantities, and this is dependent on the material. This is where your material specifications come into picture. Is it very flaky or is it rounded, and all those other things which we saw determine how many meter cube of material is going to be required. And again, one very important thing is, typically we like to do weight batching. And in the site here, what we are having, it is a volume. So this is where the flakiness or roundness of different materials come into the equation. So depending on the shape, on the density of the aggregate, you will be able to get this value. So you can take a look at any of the concrete technology books in particular for this particular item to get the individual unit, for a unit volume of concrete, what would be the fraction of different materials. So this 0.27, this 0.28 and other stuff which is there essentially is coming from the it's essentially coming from the concrete technology book. Now if you see here, you are having the other things like carriages, like moving the stone aggregate from one point to other. So we totally have 0.85 stone aggregate. So that is nothing but your 0.57 plus 0.28. So we are essentially moving 0.57 plus 0.28 of aggregate. So if you want to just add it, you can just try it. You will get that's 8. Okay, so for 15.85. okay, I am 0.85. I was afraid to put 8 because I knew it will happen. Okay, so this is 0.85, and this is the amount of aggregates which is getting transported. Okay, so you will find that then there is this sand. Again, there's no fraction in this sand, so it's the same fraction. So you just put the same as 0.425. Again, the amount of cement is given in kgs. Please be very careful. All these are coming from your calculation of different items which are there, and usually it is also a measure of convenience. So if you are going to do volume batching, you can directly use this material and this particular table and work on. Suppose you want to do weight batching, you will need to do a little bit of changes in this. So this is the place where your knowledge of material is very much required. And again, we need to know how much work a laborer can do. So a laborer, can probably do 0.1 meter cube of concrete. When you look at this, it's 0.1. So in one day, we are putting it in days, right? One day will be 8 hours. So that is, to do 1 meter cube of concrete, we are taking 10% of 8 working hours. So that's the meaning of this. And usually, like how is 1.63 coming? So you need a gang of so many people. You divide it by the number of people, you will get a fraction. That is why you are getting this 1.63. So these are all the different classes of people who are there, right? So another very important thing is always there will be something called as the water charge. What is this water charge for? Working in the particular site, water will still be required. It can be for curing, it can be for mixing or whatever. So there is a cost associated with water, and typically it is taken as 1%, and it will be added to the total cost. It will be added in terms of, like you already have a certain cost which you have worked out. So you have worked out a cost of 53289, and this is excluding the water charge. So you put it as 1%, you get around 54 rupees. Add both of them, you get a price. Now this is the cost at which you are entering into your whatever is your, what you call, your I'm sorry, I'm very sorry, right? So whenever you are working on, this is the cost where you don't have any profit, any tax component. So if you are going to do the work, there is no way you are going to do it at a value lesser than this. This is the amount you are having to invest for doing 1 meter cube of concrete. Again, this is 1 meter cube of cost of 1 meter cube in Delhi. Okay, so if you are going to go and do it in other places, if suppose it's a hill station, cost could be up more because the transport cost is higher. The efficiency of diesel engines at higher altitudes is lesser. So you need to increase the cost depending on the place where you are working. So for example, suppose you are working in a place where in the middle of a river, maybe you are going to construct a resort in the middle of a water body, a lake or something. So all your concreting, which is especially going underground, will need to take into account the cost for all the protective works, right? So that also needs to be included in the cost. So here we are doing an analysis of rate in a very good conducive environment. There's no adverse things which is there. So if you anticipate anything adverse coming, if you are looking at getting a better finish, you need to add those things. See, for example, over here we are only looking at a vibrator, needle vibrator. We are not looking at probably a tower crane and a boom to place the concrete. We are not looking at probably any one of those devices, floating devices which are used for creating the vacuum dewatered concrete. So if suppose those things are coming, please remember we need to add the items over there. Now, any questions at this point, please? Anybody has any questions? Right. Let me move on. So here, one of the things which in the previous video which I made a mistake was I have given this as this. I told that this is 18 percentage. Actually, why this 0.1405 is coming is explained in this Excel sheet. Okay, I have done this Excel sheet so that uh, I can explain this better, and I'll be making available this Excel sheet also. So essentially what is happening here is we are looking at seeing how there is the profit component of the contractor also involved, and we need to ensure that this when we are adding this to the GST, we are adjusting it so that it doesn't affect the items for which we have already got the input. So what is happening over here, we are trying to find what percentage of GST should be used so that we are not just a minute. So we are just trying to see what is the GST which we have to use so that we are taking into account the contractor's profit also, right? We are looking at certain things have already gone in. So whatever was the amount, which has come as W. So we got a value as W, and we have added the water cost and got this value X. So what component of X should be added so that the GST which we compute is the correct one, because we are having a contractor's profit also, for which we are trying to avoid the GST, right? So now it is essentially a backworking which we are doing. So that is why using this Excel sheet is relatively easy. So in this particular Delhi schedule of rates, we noticed that we have used a 12 percentage what we call as the GST for the job, and I think I should input as 0.12, and the contractor's profit and overheads has been given as 15 percentage. So when we do that, the value which we get is 0.1405, and this is what has been this is what we see over here. This 0.1405 is the multiplication factor for GST. Here what is happening, we are using 12 percentage. Already there is some amount which has been there. What number should be multiplied so that we get 12% GST, taking into account your contractor's profit and other things. So here we are using a contractor's profit of 15 percentage and a GST rate of what you call as 10 percentage. So suppose you want to look at, like, today the concrete is GST is 28 percentage, and suppose you want to have 15 percentage profit, you will be multiplying 0.3361. So suppose you want to have even more profit, so let us say that you want a 20 percentage profit. I can't go at 0 percentage. So let us say, so you get 0.2807, and I mean here we are having we are still having 0.2 percentage, but that's 20 percentage. And let's see, suppose I give 0, you should get the same 28. So that is whatever you are putting as the multiplication factor, you are getting it over here. So I mean, this is just to give you the feel on how this works. So let us say that we are going to look at a 10 percentage profit. If you are going to go for a 10 percentage profit, you are multiplying at 0.3169. So if you are going to have a change in the GST percentage and you want to use a similar calculation sheet where we backwork the values so that we know what is the amount which you are going to do, and after adding tax what is the value, you are going to use this system. I went to a sweet shop, so there they had kind of got this thing in place. What happened? Yes, so they had this thing in place, so they will put the unit rate of the item and then what is the price after tax. So if suppose the sweet is going to cost 600 rupees, the cost is not put as 600. Something into that value is going to give me 600 rupees. So you have set the price. MRP is going to be 600 rupees. So what should be the price which you have to quote so that you are getting this number? So this is what you are essentially doing. Right? So this number what we have, 0.1405, is holding good only under certain circumstances. So this is holding good when GST is taken at 12 percentage and contractor's profit and overhead is 15 percentage. So whenever you want to change it, you can backward using the steps which are there in the Excel sheet, or you can just use the Excel sheet directly, or you can create your own Excel sheet where you can put, for example, you will say that I will take more profit in concrete but I will reduce my profit in something else. See, for example, you want to get a very high quality finish, you can say, I will lose my profit in concrete but in the finishes I will make up, because you are so good in finishes, nobody else can do the work. So you can demand a higher percentage of profit. So this is where the calculation which you had comes into the picture, right? This is where the calculation which we did comes into the picture, and after that it is very simple. So usually here there was, I mean, when they had done these calculation, they would have had a cess on the whole thing, which would have been a local charge, so that cess is put over there. So you need to understand what are the what you call as the taxes which are levied before you are going to be able to arrive at a pricing. Okay. See, for example, education cess was one of the cess which was collected. Today we are talking about, for the farmers that we are going to collect a cess. So is it going to be the same rate as I mean, like across the country? And all those things, you need to understand, because each of these will go to different headings. For example, we need to pay a certain amount of the project value to the board of construction workers. So it's a welfare body created for the construction workers. So everybody who's hiring construction workers, more than a certain number, are expected to pay this to the corresponding boards. So it means that although your cost is, like a composite cost, many of these are broken into smaller parts. So for example, when I know this GST value, so here I'm having a GST value of 767.77. This 764.77 has to be paid to the body, to the customs and excise duty. Sorry, that is the Central Board of Direct Taxes and the direct and indirect taxes. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not too sure. Let me not blabber too much on this. But you need to pay that money to the corresponding agency, right? So with this, I will stop the session. We saw a few things. We saw that we have the daily schedule of rates, which gives you a list of rates which can be used for doing your pricing. This is the way the projects will be priced by CPWD. Now suppose you as an individual contractor are doing, you will have your own norms. So you will know how much is the cost of material in your particular city. So you will find that there are many lists which are available in on the internet, which says what is the going price of cement, steel, and like for example manufactured sand and other things in your particular city. It will also appear in the newspapers. So that can be used as your guideline value for finding the costs. The profit which you want to make is again a decision which is entirely in your own hands. Any profit value which you want, you can use. Taxes is not in your hands. Taxes have to be mandatorily paid. So you need to know what is the component of tax which you are paying, so that your end value, what you bill the customer, is something where you split it between what goes to the government, what goes to your profits and overheads, and what is the money which you have to pay for your vendors, those who supplied you the different materials. So this is a summary of how you do your calculate the rates. You take the schedule of rates. It can be the Delhi schedule of rates, and then the PWDs, corresponding state PWDs. They like factor some numbers to get a different value of rate, and using those rates you can work on. See, for example, the railways is going to use Delhi schedule of rates as such. They are not going to change it. So that was in one of the circulars which they released. If suppose you look at West Bengal, West Bengal has got its own schedule of rates. So like that, you can just like when you Google up West Bengal's comes first. That's why I'm using the word West Bengal. So if you go to your own state, they may say use a certain percentage. For example, in Tamil Nadu, in all the hills and other areas, you will be adding some more percentage to the to the schedule of rates, because the cost of doing work there is little bit more, and this is how those are taken into account. And after that, it's a simple matter of addition. So if you see, it's nothing but multiplication of the material which goes on into making 1 meter cube of concrete. After that, you are going to add up all of these values and then get a certain number, to which you add the water charges. After you get the water charges, you see, you understand what is the GST rate, and then you see your profit, and then you get the value which you put in, so that you know what is the GST component which you have to add up. So you can give the GST value to the government, and you can I mean the rest of it goes into the respective hits. So any questions at this point, please? Any questions?